Alright, this has been sitting for around an hour now, maybe a little better. The cloth is still damp, but everything underneath feels very firm. So we're going to take this all off. Just going to use the blade. Be careful when using these Olfa style blades. They are wicked sharp. They'll slice you, they'll dice you, they'll say mean things about your mom. Alright. Start pulling it apart. Well, all you got to do So there it is. So you can see lots of divots, lots of low spots, you know, some spaces like this where the foam didn't quite combine or get up to the cloth. And all those are fine. They will add to the look of the finished pumpkin. Is when you lay your dark paint over that and then spray your light orange, it's not going to get into all of these crevices, and it will bring the character out. I definitely have a really soft spot up here. I have a fontanelle on my Great Stuff pumpkin, but that's okay because I'm going to be putting a stem up here as well. So from this point I am going to let this cure for a couple of days. I can put the stem on, that's not a problem because the stem is going to cure as well, but I'm going to let this cure for a couple of days before I start cutting into it for carving and other purposes. So let's go ahead and put a stem on this. So I'm going to make the stem now. I have, I think, just enough left here in this can to make the stem. So what you want to do is make sure you have your technique. You just want to squeeze this enough. I do kind of a squiggle line and then I pull off. So if you want to take a couple of practice runs, you may want to do that. I've cut the little stem off here because we'll just fill that in with more foam. And usually what I do with these is I do odd numbers. So I'll do five veins of the stem and then we'll build up the stem itself. So here we go. And pull. Pull. Put foam in there just to fill up one of them fontanelle parts. Go here. Pull. That's 3. Pull. 4. Where are we going to put 5? This will put 5 here. Pull one there. We're going to put a little bit of fill in right here. We'll give another one. You know, this is a big enough pumpkin, we could probably get away with a couple more. So I'm going to do one here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that should be good. Okay, I'm going to start building up this here. This will be the actual stem. So we're going to build that up like that. Just like that. Okay, I'm going to start a stopwatch here. I'll show you how long it's going to take before I can start working that stem. About 17 minutes has passed. This is tacky but malleable. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm now going to start shaping it into what I want. And so a lot of what I've found this process is about releasing the air that's in here. So you may have to do a little bit of a tear to kind of release the built up gases that are inside of this. And it ends up that you just kind of have to keep working this. You have to keep going back to it. There we go, that's a little better. I usually kind of push in the center too, make it look like it's, you know, like it's cut and it's kind of shriveled back down. I will also go in between here, and I will, if I find anything that looks a little too round, a little too soft, I'll kind of try and work it out of the way. Round shapes are soft shapes. They are gentler. Sharp edges remind us of sharp, pokey things, right? Which tend to hurt. So that's why I try and get kind of these areas really, really sharp. So they look a little bit more sinister. You're going to have a little few drops that will kind of come up with the foam, and I usually just scrape that off. So you can see you can continue to work this. So the one thing I found by doing the stem this way, not putting anything over top of it, not putting a cloth or paper towel or anything, but just leaving it to the air, this has a texture to it. And basically the foam has taken on the texture of the cloth that I've used. But if this foam is exposed to air and allowed to just dry exposed to the air, it gets a sheen to it, which is then translated into any painting that you do. That painting will also take on that sheen. And I actually like the sheen for the stem. Again, it makes it look a little bit, you know, kind of slimy and that. So again, a little bit more sinister look to the pumpkin. So you can see this is still malleable. I'm still able to continue to work this. I'll keep coming back to this from this point on until this feels really firm under there and I'm not able to work it. Just to show you where we are in this process, we are now at 20 minutes. I expect this to be another 10 to 15 before this is firm enough that I can quit working it. The reason I keep working it is because, of course, having removed some of that air, it may want to collapse one way. The gases may still continue to build up and want to push the shape out of the what I'm trying to create here. So I will just keep working this until that is firm, probably for the next 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, we're about another 6 minutes in, almost 7. I've continued to work this stem. I'm now really getting happy with that shape, and everything is pretty well set up. So from here you can do, you see it's a little pliable, so you can do still more of the shaping of this, but it's going to pretty well take this shape now. A little bit more, but not much I can do. So that's it. That's how you get to the stem. As you can see, I can touch it now. There are still some wet spots from where I had to break the skin. You can see it right there. I had to break the skin through here to allow those gases to escape, so that wouldn't continue to go bulbous, right? So this way I've got some good textures going on in here that are going to take that dark brown paint really, really well. And then when I lay the green lightly on top of that, that's going to give me some really good textures in here. So I'm going to call this stem done as it is right here. 28 minutes from when we started this stem. We have a pretty well a finished stem here. So I am going to let this whole thing cure now for a couple of days. That way all the cell structures have had a real chance to kind of solidify. Those little tiny gas bubbles that are on there, the chambers, the skin of those chambers has all really will have a chance to solidify and cure properly. So the pumpkin has had a couple of days to cure. I don't think you need to give it a couple of days, but you certainly need to give it 24 hours. That way you make sure that the foam is really stabilized, that there's no soft sections within there that, if compromised by cutting into the foam, may then cause that to contract. So 24 hours should suffice. So just so you know, this pumpkin is roughly, I don't know if you can see that over there, but this is roughly 19 inches across. So that's a good sized pumpkin. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find what side I think is going to be my face. And then from there, I'm going to go to the opposite side of the pumpkin and I'm going to cut a hole in it. The reason to cut the hole is so I can apply leak seal inside the pumpkin prior to carving the face. What that will ensure is that the opening where the face is will get a very good coating of leak seal on the cloth. So that if any moisture does get into it, hopefully it's not penetrating right to the cloth. There is a barrier between the moisture and the cloth. So first I'll find the face. So I think this is going to be my face. I've got a little bit of a space here where I'm right on to the cloth underneath, so I can remove that as part of the smile. So basically all I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of indicate on here kind of where the general area of the face is going to be. That way I can go ahead and carve it. I am using orange marker just because it will disappear a little easier on the when I paint it. So now I'm going to flip it to the opposite side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut into it now. And I'm going to cut at an angle so that it looks like kind of a wedge that's going in here. That will help when I go to glue this piece back in. It'll seat better. So I'll kind of show you what I mean. So, and you may hear the whoosh of air from cutting into it. Not so much of a whoosh. So angle about like that. Same thing. Angle like about that. need to do a bit of trimming, and it will out just fine. There we go. Now reach in. Well, I told you that this would be sacrificed. There it is. So it does have a hole cut into it, so I doubt if you could use it again. There's where I cut in. Grab this leak seal. Make sure it's shaken up. I've already pre-shook this. And now basically I am just going to spray the inside of this. Try and get as good a coat in there as I possibly can. But I'm really concentrating only on the opposite face and the bottom. Not so much up here at the top. Just down in there. Okay. Now that's done. What I will take is a little bit of, make sure we find the right way that this goes in again. There it is. So now I'm going to take a little bit of Gorilla Glue all the way around here, glue it back in, and then we can wait for this to cure for a little bit, and then I'll go ahead and carve the front of the pumpkin.